Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Pokey TCG Gamer back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over my week 4 and 5 matches versus Tone and versus Jake, coaches of the Maine Red Clawitzers, and also the coach of the Virginia Tech Froakies. So before I get into these replays, I do want to go over a couple things. So I know that this is going to be my first upload in a few weeks, and I'm very sorry for that. However, my week 3 match of the CPC was actually a forfeit win, so I didn't really bother uploading that. If I did upload anything, it would have been a short 1 to 2 minute update on the forfeit of week 3, which was by the Porn Greninjas. But I felt that I could just add it into this video, and I was going to upload my week 4 match last week, but I just got out of exam week, and I've been really busy lately, so I decided I was going to do my week 4 and week 5 uploads together. And I'm also sorry that I'm not going to have music with this video. You're just going to have to listen to my voice, I guess. The editing software that I currently have just isn't, it's not the best editing software. It allows me to record videos, but there's no way I can edit music behind my videos right now. And I'm currently working to get a new laptop, which hopefully that'll come through soon. But until then, I'm going to have to do uploads like this. And the last thing I want to talk about before I get into this video is, as you guys know, in my last CPC video, I talked about the 2 waivers that I made. I dropped if you guys do not know, I dropped my Mega Gyarados for Mega Sceptile, and I also dropped what was it, Scavalier for Grand Bull, and now I used my 3rd and final waiver, which will be effective week 6, in which I dropped Gliscopod for Uxie. And real quick, I'll tell you guys why I did that. Basically, my ground resist consisted of Mega Sceptile and Gliscopod, and I felt Uxie over Gliscopod. It gives me a ground immunity, it gives me a Stealth Rocks user, it gives me speed control with Thunder Wave, and it gives me a really bulky ground resist, which is going to be really nice going into phase 2, which I'll tell you guys at the end. We already clinched phase 2, that's very nice. So yeah, let's just get into the video. Basically how I'm going to do this is I'm going to quickly go over my team, just like the sets and stuff, and then we'll get into the battle. So, and I'll do that for Jake's game as well. But real quick, looking at the team match, or what I brought is Kieran Black, Mega Sceptile, Tentacruel, Keldeo, Golurk, and Alolan Muck, which I'll go over in a sec. But he brought Licky, Azumarill, Milotic, Heatran, the Nidoking, and the Latias. So what he left behind was his Zapdos, Lucario, Hitmontop, Stunfisk, and Mega Houndoom. Now I was surprised that the Zapdos didn't come, because that was pretty much his best check to a Mega Sceptile bar a Sap Sipper Azumarill, which we'll see if he has when we get into the replay. But I also thought Lucario could have been a nice bring, but he did bring those 2 last time, and I guess he just wanted to switch it up a bit. He brought Latias and Licky over Zapdos and Lucario this time, which I felt was a good choice on his part. And actually, last time he brought Hitmontop over Heatran as well. But let's just get into the sets that I have. I have a Kieran Black here with the Life Orb, and it has Fusion Bolt, Dragon Claw, Ice Beam, and Roost. Pretty much that coverage hits his entire team very hard. It's basically the same spread as the last time I faced Tone, except I changed it up and I got rid of Earth Power for Dragon Claw, and a few reasons for doing so. One, I felt I didn't really need Earth Power, as Earth Power hits the Heatran and the Lucario, and I have a very solid switch it into the Heatran and into the Lucario I can play around. But I just felt I didn't need Earth Power, because Fusion Bolt hits those 2 hard enough anyway, and Dragon Claw helps me versus the Licky, which I actually predicted the Licky to be a max HP, max Pidef nature to take on a special Kyurem, which I brought last time. But now mine is more physical with Ice Beam, just to hit things like the Nidoking and the Zapdos. But yeah, it's fully physical, and if he is max HP, max Pidef, which he turned out to be, Dragon Claw from a Life Orb Kieran Black 2 KOs that spread, which is nice. So next we have the Mega Sceptile with Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse, Focus Blast and Toxic to get his only two switch-ins are Looky, which only is a switch-in if I miss Focus Blast, which obviously is possible, and then Zapdos, which I can Toxic, and I can wear both those down as long as he doesn't have Heal Bell on his Looky. So next we have these next two sets are the same sets these next four sets are the same or very similar sets to the ones I brought versus Tono Week 2. I'm not the best with rematches, but I can still do them okay. But I felt that these four sets I could bring again, and I didn't really need to make much change to them as they perform very well versus his team. So I have the Tentacruel with same set. It speed creeps Adamant Lucario or max speed Heatran pretty much, and I have Scald, Acid Spray, Sludge Bomb, and Rapid Spin just to spin away rocks. Acid Spray helps me 1v1 things like the Milotic and the Looky better, and it just, like I said, it's a nice check to Azumarill too. Next we have the Keldeo, which same set as last time as well with Toxic, Protect, Scald, and Secret Sword. I'm speed creeping a max speed Jolly Lucario with it, and it's a really nice mon versus his team. It checks a lot of his very threatening offensive mons. It checks Heatran. It doesn't take much from any of its hits unless it's Bloom Doom. It checks Nidoking, very nice as it has no special attack investment, but even without that, Scald Oko's Nidoking, Secret Sword Oko's Lucario, and Scald Oko's the Mega Houndoom after rocks. And this is a fantastic check to Mega Houndoom, so it makes sense that he never brought it either time that we played. So next up we have a Golurk, same set as last time with the Cobra Berry, max attack. Speed creeping, possibly. I actually forgot why I speed creeped. I may have ran no speed or I speed crept the Hitmontop. But either way, we have Earthquake, Stealth Rocks, Ice Punch, and instead of Thunder Punch, which we brought last time, this time we are bringing Drain Punch, which helps a lot versus the Looky, and it also hits basically the Looky, but I knew that he was going to bring the Looky, and I felt I didn't really need Thunder Punch as I don't outspeed the Milotic, and even though I could 2 KO with a Thunder Punch, there's no point in doing that if I can't outspeed it. So last we have this Alone Muck, which is a mainly Spadef Mon this week, but it also has enough attack to kill a Latios if it switches out with Pursuit after rocks damage, which is very nice. And then it basically just sponges hits from the Latios and gets rid of it, which is actually pretty annoying for some of my mons as it checks the Kieran Black, it checks the Tentacruel, it counters the Keldeo and the Tentacruel, so it's just a threatening mon. So I want to Pursuit that thing right away, so let's just start off with this battle, and I lead off with my Keldeo here, and I get a matchup versus the Milotic. And this is very nice because right here I'm able to fire off a Toxic pretty much with no fear. If I can Toxic any of the four mons that aren't immune, that would be very nice. And if he goes into Heatran or Nidoking, I would just fire off a Scald, and I would also be fine. So right here I get the free Toxic off. And right here, I'm just gonna protect. Protect was overall my best play. I get more toxic damage. I can scout for a double and scout his moveset. So right here, he reveals Thunder Wave, which is it's a good bring on his part. Gives him some speed control. But I just go right into an Alone Muck. I was thinking that he might drop a Draco, predicting my Golurk, but I wanted to keep it at least a bit healthy, so Alone Muck was just my best play. There was no reason not to go into it. So right here, I just go into it as he does fire off a Thunder Wave, but now he is down to 64%, and I'm guessing he can't really touch me. I haven't seen an item yet, and I haven't seen if he has like Earthquake or anything, but my safest play by far was going for Pursuit, as if he was no HP or no defense, it would do like 50% almost, even if he didn't switch out, which would be very nice, and that would help with the toxic damage. So as long as I didn't get paralyzed here as he switched out, this Latias was gone, and luckily I did not get paralyzed, and he lost Latias at turn 4, which is super nice for me. So basically, Alone Muck, it did its job, and right here, I wanted to break this thing's balloon, and I figured he'd get up Stealth Rock, so I just pursued it to get rid of the balloon as I don't have knockoff. So I did get rid of the balloon, so now I'm thinking he's gonna go for Earth Power. So I do want to get rid of these rocks, but I can do that at a later time versus the Melodic or versus the Azumarill. So I just go into my Keldeo, as I know I'll take like about 30% from an Earth Power, depending on his spread. As we do see right here, I take 31% from an Earth Power, and I'm able to just fire off a Scald, because if I can get damage off on this or burn his Azumarill, that'd be nice, and I can Toxic the Licky Licky or the Milotic. So right here, he's just gonna click Earth Power again. And right here, Scald is definitely just my best play, as he could save that, which he does, as he just goes into Milotic as I fire off that Scald. And right here, I see no items, so I'm kind of wondering at this point, what item is this Milotic? I was thinking it could be some kind of berry, and I did find out after the match, even though it wasn't revealed, that it did have a grass-resistant berry for my Mega Sceptile. I was kind of thinking that it could be a Wakan berry for my Kyurem, but I didn't really see the point in that because it can't do a ton of damage um, unless it's like Specs Dragon Pulse or something. So right here, I see Hydro Pump as I protect, and right after that, I'm starting to think like, is this Specs Milotic? So to scout that out, I just go into my Tentacruel Specs. Milotic can't 2-hit KO this with the Hydro Pump. As right here, he misses, so that gives me the perfect opportunity to Rapid Spin my the rocks away to help my Kyurem Black. As he does this, go for another Hydro Pump. But that damage did reveal to me that he was not a boosting item, and so he was not Specs, which was very nice. So I still thought that he could be a berry, but he could also be like Expert Bell with like Dragon Pulse, Recover, Hydro Pump, and HP Electric, which actually didn't have the worst matchup. But right here, I'm just gonna make a double into my Kyurem. Because I didn't think he would go for a Dragon Pulse if he had it. I thought he would just fire off an HP Electric or a Hydro Pump. As right here, you see he'll fire off a Hydro Pump. Just do 25%. I am actually minus Defense Nature. Instead of minus defense instead of minus special defense, because the Nidoking was so threatening. I wanted to be able to at least like switch into that a little bit better. So right here, just fire off a Fusion Bolt. If he went to this, I could just Ice Beams. It was just by far my safest play, and it actually kills the Milotic, showing me he didn't really have much bulk investment. So he's definitely some sort of offensive Milotic, but now he goes to the Azumarill, and I did a calc, and I was thinking, this thing, if it's max HP, it still drops to a Fusion Bolt. If he has some defense, he'd have to be like max defense Bolt to live a Fusion Bolt. And I didn't, in my head, I didn't really consider Wakan Berry, even though I know that Tone is a very competent player, and I know that he wouldn't send this in unless he thought that he could live. So I should have thought Wakan Berry should have been one thought in my head. But as you can see, I fire off a Fusion Bolt. It does 60% through the Wakan Berry, but he does live that, and he's able to fire off a Play Rough and just kill my Kyurem Black. So if I went to my Tentacruel, I would have had my Kyurem Black for later. But it wouldn't have mattered that much. So right here, I just go into my Tentacruel as he just goes into his Heatran. Very good play on his part on the Sludge Bomb. He was probably thinking I can go into my Heatran on a Poison move, and I can outspeed this Tentacruel and get on my rocks, because I'm pretty sure he was max speed Heatran, but I'm not sure. But as you guys are going to see right here, I did speed creep this Heatran, and I'm able to fire off a Scald and just kill this thing off. So now that's dead, and he's able to go into his Nidoking here. Pretty much his only play. So right here, I'm gonna go into my Keldeo, knowing I can take any hit, unless it's a Thunderbolt, or actually I don't know if I could have taken a Life Orb Sludge Wave. But right here, you guys are gonna see that he is actually Scarf, because we do speed creep Nidoking by a few points, so we would have outsped it, but he does reveal to be Scarf. So I'm able to go into my Golurk here, fire off an EQ, and basically pick up a kill, which is very nice. So he's this sacks as a Sumeru, so Golurk gets its first kill of the season, I think, or its second kill. As you guys probably know, Golurk is one of my favorite League mons to use. I always draft this thing. It's just so fun to use. So, right here goes into his Needle King. I just go into my Tentacles, scouting for the Ice Beam. As if he went for Earth Power, that would have been pretty bad, but he thankfully does not. So, I probably should have sacked my Lone Muck in hindsight, but I didn't end up doing that. So, he goes into his Looky Looky here. I Acid Spray, and I know I can pretty much beat this thing 1v1. So, he makes a nice player, switching out. I just click Sludge Bomb, hoping for a Poison. And he was -2 on his SPDF. So right here, I choose to sack off my Alone Muck. I could have like pivoted into maybe Sceptile, trying to I could have possibly pivoted into Sceptile trying to save differential, but I didn't feel the need. I just wanted to try and guarantee a win. So right here, I'm going to go into my Golurk, and I'm just going to click Earthquake, knowing he can't kill me with a Scarf Earth Power. Even if it was a crit, that wouldn't have killed me. So I just fire for an Earthquake, and Golurk gets the second kill of the match. So now it's just 3 Pokemon versus this Wookie Licky. And right here, you guys are going to see I'm going to fire for Drain Punch, do 53%, which is that's why Drain Punch was a good ad with Iron Fist. It too killed max HP Looky Looky, but you guys are gonna see right here. He reveals the curse. Now, right away after I see this, I'm like, okay, what's my best course of action to beat this curse Looky Looky? I was thinking he could be curse Rest Talk with either Earthquake or Knockoff. Probably Earthquake though, since my team is so Earthquake weak. So I do see that he is cursed. So my best course of action was to just keep on Drain Punching, and eventually I'd be able to go into my Tentacruel Acid Spray for my Sceptile if Golurk was not able to kill this. So I'm just going to keep firing off Drain Punches. Right here I do 36% as he does reveal the rest, and he on this turn he also reveals the Chesto, which means that he is probably a 2 attacks curse with rest and no sleep talk, which is good for me to know. So now I'm just going to keep firing off Drain Punches as he fires off a knockoff here, showing that I have the Cobra Berry, and I'm just going to keep firing off Drain Punches as I do 39 that time. And he does decide to go for Curse again, but even through 2 curses, Drain Punch is able to do 26 damage. And that is going to be the end of the game. So we do pick up a nice 3-0 win versus Tone. We did sweep Tone for phase 1. So now after this game, if I won this game, I clinched a spot in phase 1, and I did win this game 3-0, improving myself to 4-0 plus 13 differential, I think, at this point. But I did clinch phase 1, so now, before I even built for Jake, I already knew that I had a clinch spot in phase 2, which is very nice. And Tone or Jake was going to be the one joining me there. But Tone needed a lot of help. Basically, Tone needed to win out pretty big after this, and he needed Jake to lose out pretty big. So yeah, guys, that's the end of this Tone replay. I'm going to hop over to the replay of me versus Jake, and I'll be right back. And we're back, guys, and we have the replay pulled up for me versus Jake for Week 5 of the CPC offseason, of course. So, real quick, I'm just going to go over the teams that we each brought. So, I brought Mega Sceptile, Alakazam, Golurk, once again, Grand Bull, Kieran Black, and Excadrill. And he brought Manaphy, Mega Altaria, Weavile, Metagross, Gliscor, and Braviary. So, pretty much the team that he brought was pretty much what I expected, except I didn't really expect the Braviary, but I kind of expected the Galvantula over that because Webs were still really nice versus my team, even though he can't block Rapid Spin. But he did decide to bring the Braviary, so looking at his team right off the bat, I kind of just looked at it and I thought, okay, it looks like Tail Glow, Dazzling Gleam, Scald, Rain Dance Manaphy. As if you look at my team, he really only needs Dazzling Gleam and Scald. Like, look what I brought and look at what the resistances are to Scald and Dazzling Gleam. There is none. So that's kind of why I thought that would be his Mega Altaria. I kind of thought Dragon Dance, but in the back of my mind, I also thought Special with Hyper Voice and Fire Blast looked really nice versus my team as well. Weavile, I kind of thought, it was probably just going to be a Life Orb with Pursuit and probably Poison Jab. Metagross, looking at it, it's probably going to be his Stealth Rocker, or it could be his Gliscor still with, item could probably be Shuckerberry to help with the Kieran Black's Earth Power. The Gliscor, obviously, it's probably going to be Toxicor with some defensive set, and then Braviary looked to be Choice Scarf from this team makeup. So, let's just go into what I brought. So, I brought the Mega Sceptile. And before I go into this set, I just want to say I already said this in this video, but I did already clinch my spot in Phase 2. So there was no point in me really bringing a serious team, or I didn't have to. But I decided, at first I built a team completely, it was total heat. It was just total fun sets. But I decided to go with a more serious team with a little bit of heat because if I didn't have to lose, I didn't want to lose. Or if I didn't have to lose, I wasn't going to. Because I would rather just stay hot and just keep winning without taking a loss than just take a loss, even though the game doesn't matter. Like if I can be 6-0 going into Phase 2, I'd rather have that because I'll have the momentum still of a 6-0 winning streak or a 6-game winning streak rather than a 1-game winning streak after like a loss like this. So I decided to do that. But my Mega Sceptile set, this is the only heat set I brought. It is Swords Dance with Leaf Blade, Iron Tail, and EQ, and even like it's not even super heat. It is kind of heat with the Swords Dance, Iron Tail. Kind of a nice thing for the Mega Altaria, but it's not super heat. Because he can, excuse me, he can like even it does it actually has a good matchup versus his team. That's why I'm saying like it's not super heat because it actually like looks good on paper versus him. But basically I have enough speed to outspeed a Weavile, which I'm running 374 speed on my Mega Sceptile. Reason being he only needs to outpace Alakazam with his Weavile, so I'm just outspeeding my Alakazam by 2 points with my Mega Sceptile and Ice Shard either way versus my Mega Sceptile. So there's no point really. Even if he's max speed, Ice Shard's still a thing, and I do have a Grand Bull. So next we have a Focus Sash Alakazam. Pretty much, if Metagross or Weavile or Manaphy gets out of hand, I can send in a Sash Alakazam and either kill the Weavile or outspeed the Manaphy and the Metagross and kill them if they're weakened. But my coverage this week is Psychic, Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, and HP Fighting. Signal Beam was for the Celebi, which didn't come. I could just kill that thing after some chip damage, depending on the spread as well. But HP Fighting kills the Weavile, and I don't have to worry about a Focus Blast miss, which also almost costed me my Week 1 game versus Jake. So yeah, it's basically a nice revenge killer, nice insurance versus things like all his the threats that he has on his team. So next we have a Golurk here with these Stealth Rocks, the Earthquake, the Ice Punch, and the Magic Coat. It's pretty much max attack, max speed, or max attack, max HP. Magico is for the if he wanted to bring the Galvantula lead off with it, I could Magic Coat that thing and set webs on his side, which he can't get rid of unless he has a default Gliscor, which would mean he wouldn't have Toxicor. And even if he did set up webs, I could Rapid Spin versus a few things on his team, like the Metagross or the Gliscor because I have the Sugar Berry, or even a Altaria if it doesn't have Fire Blast. So, next set we have is the Grand Bull with the Play Rough, the EQ, the Ice Punch, and the Thunder Wave. So pretty much this is my overall. It checks the Braviary unless it's like sub bulk up. It's a counter to the Weavile, which is very nice. Poison Jab only does like it's like 30 something I think, if it's like Life Orb, which is very nice. And I can Thunder Wave a lot of his team. I can Thunder Wave the Manaphy and the Metagross and the Weavile, pretty much everything except the Gliscor, and then to get some speed control for things like my Alakazam, or I can just get speed control, and pairs are always nice. And next, an Ice Punch basically just to hit the Gliscor, because I want to be able to get rid of the Gliscor and the Mega Altaria, because right off the bat I saw if I get Rocks up and then get rid of the Mega Altaria and the Gliscor, I can spam Fusion Bolt late game with my Scarf Kieran Black, which is actually the next set I'm going to be going over. It's it's the same set that I brought versus him week 1. It's Scarf with Dragon Claw, Fusion Bolt, Earth Power, and Ice Beam. Pretty much max attack with enough speed 2 speed. It's actually max attack adamant, 20 in special attack with 236 in speed to outspeed a Scarf Braviary or a +1 Mega Altaria. So pretty much this thing, it checks a Manaphy. It checks the Manaphy with Fusion Bolt. If it tail goes, it checks the Mega Altaria with Ice Beam. Depending on where it's at, if it Dragon Dances, it checks the checks a Scarf Braviary, it checks the Weavile to some extent, it checks the Metagross to some extent, and it kills the Gliscor with Ice Beam. So the last that we have is a Sugar Berry Excadrill, which its speed creeps once again. It speed creeps a max speed or I don't know if I speed crept max speed Altaria or if I speed crept max speed Metagross, but either way, I have the Sugar Berry with Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Iron Head, and X Scissor. X Scissor was for if you wanted to bring an defensive Celebi, I could hit it up with an X Scissor, and Sugar Berry is able to. It's allowed me to check the Metagross a lot better because Hammer Arm didn't make much sense versus my team. But anyway, we're gonna get into this game. So I do lead off with my Galore, trying to get on my rocks as he leads off with this thing, and I'm just gonna set up my rocks right away, as he does reveal to be special right here, or so I thought. He reveals to be special at the moment, and he doesn't do over half to me, which is where the max HP is coming in handy, as I'm just able to set up my rocks here. As right here, he throws off an Earthquake, predicting my Excadrill, as I just stay in, wanting to get damage off of this thing, and I knew I was max attack adamant. I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO this thing, as I do. So right here at the side, I don't think he's going to risk a roost. I think he's just going to fire off a Hyper Voice, so I do go into my Excadrill this time, and if he EQs, it wasn't the worst thing in the world because I have my Sugar Berry. But he just does fire off a Hyper Voice to 27%, and I'm able to fire off a pretty free Iron Head, hitting most of his team pretty hard, as he goes into this, and I Iron Head, and he reveals to be a max HP. I think this revealed to me max HP, I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, I just decide with my Sugar Berry, I think I'm just going to try to kill this off, as it's a roll to kill with the Iron Head, as I end up doing 44, which kind of sucks. So he's able to, right here, I thought he was going to roost up trying to keep this healthy, but he actually just sets up his rocks here, which is fine with me. I can spin this way later if I need to. I might not even need to. So right here, I'm just going to fire off a Leaf Blade. If he went to his Metagross, that's at least a little chip damage. But I'm able to kill this thing with the Leaf Blade, as Mega Sceptile gets his first kill of the season. So now he goes into his Weavile, and I was kind of predicting that he'd just go for a knockoff or a Poison Jab. But I make the safe play into my Grand Bull either way, as he actually reveals the Reflect, which is a very cool set in his part. Definitely should be a set of the week, as that was very creative on his end. As he just goes into his Manaphy here, thinking he could set up on me. But I do reveal the Thunder Wave, as if he doesn't have Rain Dance, he's going to be crippled for the rest of the game. So now I just go hard into my Goer, trying to sack it off to a Scald, but he actually goes for Dazzling Gleam, and due to the max HP, we actually do live that, which is very nice. But a little unfortunate there. We do get a Para, as we do get a Para, as we fire off an Earthquake doing 29, so we do a little more damage to him, but he's able to just kill me off next turn with the Surf, as the Reflect wears off now. So with the Reflect wearing off, I'm able to go into my Mega Sceptile to fire off a Leaf Blade, as I figured he would save this, but Leaf Blade was still my best play. It gets off damage it gets off damage on everything. So right here, I decide I'm just gonna fire off an Earthquake, as getting rid of the Sugar Berry helps my Excadrill and my Kieran Black. As right here, he throws off a Meteor Mash, and I was almost positive he would have Bullet Punch, as Bullet Punch it made a lot of sense versus my team. It picks off weakened Mega Sceptile, weakened Kieran Black. It picks off a Alakazam if it's at its sash or anything like that. So I really expected him to have Bullet Punch, but he actually does not, as he switches out into his Manaphy, sacking it off pretty much, as I go for another Earthquake, and I can just finish it off with a Leaf Blade now. As he does reveal the Salak Berry, which is very good prep on his part, but I'm able to kill this thing off, as Salak Berry allowed him to outspeed my Mega Sceptile, so he could have been a sub Dazzling Gleam Tail Go Scald set. But here I'm going to make a safe play and just go into my Grand Bull again, as it does fare very well versus this thing. And I'm actually Rocky Helmet Grand Bull just because I figured I'd get knocked off at some point. As right here, I'm able to just play rough, as he sets up another Reflect, which does help him out. But he just does. He goes into his Metagross right here, as this was a pretty big part in the game. Looking at his team, I check the Braviary very well with my Kieran Black, and I really didn't need my Grand Bull anymore, especially knowing that the Mega Altaria is special, or it's at least mixed, so I really didn't need my Gramble, so I just fire off an Earthquake and like, I could have fired off a Thunder Wave, but as you can see, he's Agility, so it would have put him back at neutral speed, and also I could have missed, so I just get off damage with the Earthquake, and with this Earthquake damage, it actually puts him in Rocky Helmet range, which is so perfect, so I just let this thing go down, and I did have my Sash Alakazam in the back, which would have prevented this thing from sweeping me. But he does actually Agility was definitely a cool bring on his part. Outspeeds a Scarf Kieran Black. It outspeeds like my entire team, and could sweep if everything is weakened. But or if my Alakazam Sash is broken. But this thing dies, so I'm able to send in my Kieran Black, and it's just gonna pick up 2 kills with Ice Beam, and that's gonna be GG to Jake. So Kieran Black, I'm pretty sure it's leading the CPC in kills with 8. It's just such a threatening Pokemon to threat for. It hits so hard on the special and physical side, and it's just a very threatening Pokemon. So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. We are now 5-0 plus 17 in the CPC offseason, and we are on a very hot streak going into Phase 2. So, hope you guys enjoy. Definitely stay tuned for more CPC videos and more content of Draft League and laddering in the future. So, yeah, guys, see you next time. Peace.